It was the summer of 1945, and for 24-year-old Greta Fischer, the peace that had supposedly descended upon Europe offered no relief. Captured and pregnant during the final, chaotic days of World War II, she found herself trapped in a nightmare of uncertainty. German propaganda had been relentless in its conditioning, painting the Americans as monsters devoid of mercy. Clutched within her swollen belly was her unborn daughter, and Greta was paralyzed by the certainty that her captors would take the child away. Her husband, Klaus, was likely lost to the frozen carnage of the Eastern Front, and her home in Stuttgart had been reduced to rubble. This child, Emma, was all she had left. The journey across the Atlantic was 3 weeks of unmitigated dread. Confined in cramped holds, thick with the smell of seawater, Greta listened to the constant, chilling whispers circulating among the women. They said the Americans would experiment on them. They claimed the babies would be stolen and given to American families. Each rumor was more horrific than the last. When the ship finally docked in New Orleans, the first shock Greta encountered was not cruelty, but contrast. She stepped out under a sky unmarred by smoke to see intact buildings and bustling streets. She saw children riding bicycles in a world completely untouched by the devastation she had known. This impossible abundance was a painful glimpse of what victory looked like, setting the stage for the deeper contradictions to come. Upon her arrival at Camp Ruston in Louisiana, Greta braced herself for the worst. She stood in line, 5 months pregnant, her worn gray uniform barely concealing her condition, expecting nothing but condemnation. When her turn finally came, she found herself facing a young American officer, a boy barely old enough to shave. He looked at her stomach, then down at his forms. "When is the baby due?" he asked. Greta's heart hammered against her ribs. "September," she whispered, her voice barely audible. He nodded, then did something she never expected. He smiled. It was a small, awkward, but genuine smile. "Congratulations," the officer said. "We'll make sure you get extra rations, and the medical staff will check on you regularly." Greta stood stunned. This was the absolute opposite of the monsters she had been taught to fear. Soon after, a kind nurse speaking simple English outlined a comprehensive plan. Vitamins, a special diet of milk, eggs, and fresh vegetables, lighter work duties, and delivery at a proper hospital on the base. Then came the showers. Hot water streamed from the nozzles, and she was given a bar of lavender-scented soap, real soap. As she washed away months of grime, her tears mixed with the water. Emerging in a clean, soft cotton dress, she looked in the mirror and barely recognized the human being staring back. The days settled into a strange, comfortable rhythm. Breakfast consisted of oatmeal, scrambled eggs, toast with butter, and real coffee, luxuries Greta hadn't seen in years. Her work in the camp laundry was light, and she was paid in camp scrip, which she could spend at the canteen. There she found chocolate bars, Coca-Cola, and even lipstick. The first time she bought a Hershey bar, the sweetness exploded on her tongue, and she wept, torn between the simple joy of the taste and the guilt of knowing her family in Germany was starving. Letters from her sister, Elsa, confirmed the grim reality back home. However, the greatest revelation was yet to come. One afternoon, the camp doctor casually remarked, "When the baby is born, we'll issue a birth certificate, an official U.S. document. It's standard procedure for all births on American soil." Greta stared at him, unable to comprehend. A birth certificate. It would be official recognition that her child existed, that she mattered, and that she had rights, despite being born to a German prisoner in American captivity. It shattered the last vestiges of the propaganda she had been fed. Her lingering fear for Emma warred with this growing, unsettling disbelief. Finally, in late August, she forced herself to ask the doctor directly, "After it is born, will I be able to keep her?" The doctor looked at her with understanding in his eyes. "Of course, Mrs. Fischer," he said firmly. "She is your child. No one is going to take her from you. Your baby is an innocent who had no part in any of that." Later, overhearing 2 American soldiers talking, she heard one say, "That German prisoner. She's due soon, isn't she? Must be strange having a baby in a prison camp." The other replied, "War is a hell of a thing. Nobody wins, everybody loses something." They spoke with sympathy, not contempt. Emma arrived on September 12, 1945. After an 8-hour labor surrounded by calm, attentive nurses, Greta heard her daughter's indignant cry. "Congratulations, Mrs. Fischer. You have a beautiful baby girl." 3 days later, the doctor handed her a manila folder containing a single crisp sheet of paper. Name, Emma Fischer. Place of birth, Fort Polk, Louisiana, USA. It was legal proof that Emma existed and had a place in the world. The months that followed were a paradox. Freedom meant returning to a ruined Germany, while captivity meant safety. In February 1946, they boarded a ship for Bremen. Germany was chaos and hunger, but it was home. Emma grew up hearing two stories, one of a shattered nation and one of a prison camp where the enemy showed unexpected humanity. When Emma was old enough to hold that yellowed American birth certificate, Greta told her, "The world is complicated. The same nation that bombed our cities also fed me. Some choose cruelty, some choose kindness." Greta kept that certificate her entire life, a testament to the light found in war's shadow, proving that every child deserves to be recognized.